It's another edition of the G Wolf 13 broadcast. It's called the Shotgun Effect, and it's coming to you now. So here we go. Starting off the day right. And, we may have to change the bumper music up. I don't know, Kind of just same thing over and over again, but we enjoy it. That's why we play it. And it's kind of part of the theme, So anyway, take it down. All right. Here it goes. Of course, we're back. We're reporting live from the compound. We can talk about compounds in a minute. I took you out with a little bit different bumper music last night. Same album. Why? I was just thinking about something else that we deal with from time to time, and I don't have a huge issue with this, but some people do, and it all depends on what the particular situation is at hand. But forgiveness. The song was Unforgiven last night on the ending bumper music, and it just goes with the territory of our conversation. We have a lot of that going on too, and I know somebody in particular, good close personal compadre. I haven't spoken to in a while, but there's somebody that taught me a little bit more about steadfast forgiveness, because it's something I saw coming from them constantly. When you get to know someone like that, it just kind of broadens your perspective on the concept. But let's talk for a minute about compounds. I was thinking about two things today, and both of them happen to be in forms, military campaigns. The first one we're going to discuss is the situation that occurred back in, I think it was 1991. It was something I'll always remember because I watched it live on national television in my living room, and I wasn't very old at the time. Does anybody remember, or has anyone heard of, it's just almost forgotten history at this point, unfortunately, the Waco siege? There's a lot of opinion about David Koresh and his clan, or group, or whatever you want to call them. Sect is really, I think, the proper word. They were an offshoot of the Seventh-day Adventists. And there was concern over, initially I think it had something to do with the group purchasing so many firearms. I don't know what the amount is. And they were being eyeballed for this through the, I think, the FBI, the ATF. And long story short, the government started coming up with a lot of different types of statements of suspicion on various potential problems within the sect, which had moved itself away literally to a very remote spot outside of the populated area of Waco, Texas. And there was said concerns over the children that belonged to the group. They were just, these people were kind of just off going to do their own thing. And there was questions as to whether or not everything would be going on as far as underage below the age of 18 marriages and situations like that. There was rumors that David Koresh was a polygamist and all this sort of thing. Well, as far as anything regarding questioning at all, evidently it had been reported that the government had opportunities to come to Koresh face to face in town and ask him to come in for questioning. And there was really not much of a doubt that he would have complied. But instead of doing that, they allowed Koresh to go back to his home, and the ATF one day just raided the place. Well, that didn't go down very well because it was a surprise attack, and I assume they didn't really understand completely what was happening because of this fact. And a shootout occurred, and it turned into a very large ordeal. It ended in the entire compound, many of the people shot and burned to death. Horrible. And Koresh and the rest of these people had had discussions about the fact that they believed the end of times was coming and the Christians were going to be in between a rock and a hard place, potentially having to fight a tyrannical government, and that the Battle of Armageddon was on its way. And either way you slice it, at the end of the day, that belief came true for those people. It was a catastrophe. Many ATF or a handful of ATF agents wounded and killed. Several of the Branch Davidians is what they were called. These people were wounded and killed. And you can go back there now and you can see there's nothing really left but a memorial. The other situation, militarily, it's actually regarding military history, would be the many battles of the Civil War, including Gettysburg. Very large battle. Final battle. We all know that the South, which actually had a proper title, the Confederacy, lost that war. Well, at Gettysburg, after Gettysburg, General Lee, who was the head general over the Confederate Army, had seen where things were headed, knew that he had a choice to make. In this particular case, okay, the choice was either continue to fight or make accommodations for what they may have to do next, which is give up the fight to whatever degree, in all actuality in their case, complete surrender. And if they were absorbed back into the Union, then the Confederates would have to basically live under the Union's rules, which you have the right to your beliefs. And you can be a Confederate at heart, but I can't be a Confederate in the street. So generally said, well, we can continue to lose more lives, or we can put an end to this now, and that's what he did, and he initiated surrender with Ulysses S. Grant. And what is all of this? What is Waco? What is the surrender of the Confederacy? What does this have to do with anything? Well, the fact of the matter is this: we're getting to a place now, I think, people who are of traditional European Christendom, maybe people who are more off doing their own thing to whatever degree, in comparison to the extreme end of that being the Branch Davidians, who are really trying to just rough it. And we're watching the secular world go off into just a really insane path, and we're watching things occur that could potentially be the unraveling of an unfolding before our eyes of biblical prophecy of things that were said to be coming in last days. And the point I'm going to make is this. I've looked at many angles. I've studied politics for a long time. I don't think it's going to make it. And if we're going to end up in some sort of a loss as far as the Western world, and that includes Christendom, free Christendom, then we're going to have to prepare for whatever new accommodations we're going to have to make, and whatever that means. So, when, how are we talking? Short term, long term? I don't completely know. I think we've seen a lot of things happening here and there over time. And so, if you haven't thought about this, rolled this general idea around in your head, well, I don't know where you've been if you haven't been paying attention to the secular world. Some of us are a little more separated. Some of us live in city hubs, and we see what's going on in the popular world around us day in and day out. So maybe it's a little bit easier to ponder on these things more often from time to time. When you wake up every day and you go into the convenience store and you read the paper, or you see what's on the cable television, that sort of thing, or just the people around you. So, it just rolls back to what was said a broadcast or two ago. The study of what occurred during the flood. Noah, what did he do? His choice he made. His choice that he made was to get on the ark and find a haven and a shelter there, regardless of where he was before and what he was doing. So, thoughts? We'll leave it at that. We'll come back. We don't have much time left. Why? Because it's the shotgun effect. It's hard, it's fast, it's to the point. We're out of here. G Wolf 13 broadcast. Come back.